You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Esoterics Podcast. I am Fioralize, and today I'm here with Jo.
Greetings, lovely listeners. Today, we are going to talk about spiritual downloads and that weird ringing in our ears, and we're going to figure out what the fuck it is.
Awesome. Yes, that is so timely. I actually was just having a conversation about downloads with my sister, so thank you.
Absolutely. I came across this topic a few weeks ago, and I remember it was considered to be a little something different than I had been taught. And of course, I was like, wait, what? We got to get into this, right? So rabbit hole, all that good stuff. And then so I'm like, all right, well, that'll be a good thing to share because I actually learned another aspect of spiritual download. So
very cool.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
What's been going on with you, though?
Listen, John Wick 4 is out in the theaters, and it is a 3-hour movie, and I do not care. I am going to go by myself, so nobody can talk to me this week, and I'm going to watch it. I love John Wick. Have you seen those?
I have not.
Okay, that's right.
I'll get on the train.
You and I have zero similar tastes in movies, typically.
No, yeah, we share some stuff. So I started watching Righteous Gems, like you told me to, because I finally got access to HBO. Yeah, so fucking funny, so funny.
It's ridiculous nonsense. It is the best.
Yeah, and then it was funny because you know the opening scene, that very first episode where they're doing that like mass baptism, and they're doing it in a giant pool, and then somebody turns on the wave and then it just gets wrecked,
goes to shit. The dad gets mad, the sister Judy's my favorite because Judy is underappreciated because she says some shit and she's foul-mouthed. I love Judy.
So I was when I went to Vegas for work a couple of weeks ago, we were staying at the Mandalay Bay, and I'm walking away from like our meeting hall, and I look on the outside and I look at the pools, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know where that is. They just so you know, they recorded that part that was done at the Mandalay Bay.
In the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. I mean, you know, but of course that was in the show, that's their frickin' church or whatever, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Righteous Gemstones, man. Listeners, if you haven't, you're gonna wanna, because that shit is ridiculous. It's awesome.
Ridiculous. It's funny. Yeah. The other one I started watching, my sister recommended, was Abbott Elementary.
Is that good stuff? Yeah, I know there was some controversy around it in the socials recently.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, the star was criticized by an educator for not having any experience to be an educator, and the star was like, had a sassy clap back that shut the educator up. So I'm not sure who and what, but it was
I'm sorry, but I don't care if an actor is an actual teacher when they're playing. It's just crazy,
right?
Like, nuts. Anyway, it's a cute little show. It's like if The Office took place in an elementary school.
Shut up. Really?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because it's basically set up kind of the same idea. People talk to the cameras. There's like, you know, the breaking of the fourth wall type of deal. Yeah, so it's like that. And there's also like a Jim and Pam-ish kind of situation.
Nice.
It's cute. Okay. I liked it. It's funny, especially if you're like me and you can't watch, you know, the gore and the horror or anything too heavy.
Yeah.
It's a good light show.
I recently saw the cabin at A Knock at the Cabin, and it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's his newest one. It's on Peacock, and I recommend that you watch it without watching the trailer first, and just let it unfold. It's really, really it's good. It's good. It's
Okay.
interesting. It makes you go, what would you do?
Uh-huh.
If you've read the book, which is I believe called The Cabin at the End of the World, the ending is different. So there, M. Night, he likes to throw in those twist endings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was interesting. It was good. It was interesting. It was worth the hour and a half. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
It wasn't particularly gory or anything or scary or anything like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, what else? I went to the doctor,
Uh-huh.
and since I started going to the gym, I got weighed again, and I lost 3 pounds.
Nice.
Very excited
Nice.
about that because I also added muscles. So um, even though the fat percentage is actually going to be a more accurate number because I've gained
Right.
muscle, but I've lost actual 3 pounds. And I don't know what that fat percentage is, but I'll check it in a few months.
Yeah.
So to see how that goes.
Yeah, I also got weighed when I went to the doctor a few weeks ago, but they weighed me in kilos and I was like, yeah, I don't want to translate that.
Right.
I don't
Right.
want to know. I don't want to know.
How many kilos? I was like, I weigh 2 kilos. I'm so.
I already know what happened to me during quarantine. I recently took like a stroll down memory lane of what I was doing during quarantine. And it was just me trying to do like yoga outside, but like the dogs and the kids would like talk to me or bother me every single time. And then the rest was just cooking and baking.
And a sedentary lifestyle, right? I mean,
Right.
it's every single, well, I won't say every single person, but the
A
majority of
lot.
humans on this planet gained weight during quarantine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody gained weight. And we had all this money and people were cooking. And yeah, I mean, I did.
Hmm.
It's not. And I look back at, pictures in the studio before I left to come to Portland, where I'm
Uh-huh.
like hosting events and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this bitch is a good 15 to 20 pounds lighter in these. And I'm like, where the hell?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so they,
Yeah.
but listen, I want to get a little bit deep here.
Okay.
The thing is that I'm not going to constantly talk about this topic. I'm going to keep this one close to the vest. I'm not going to be like, hey guys, I lost 3 pounds this week,
Hmm.
whatever. I will say that I'm currently working on issues of body image and body liberation
Hmm.
and all the shit that goes with that. So, maybe eventually I'll share my journey, but right now it's fucking hard, but it's also amazing. I'm finding that I have this inner focus and determination that I didn't know I had before. It also is supported by the astrology.
Mm.
So, maybe eventually I'll share my journey, but right now, I feel like I finally have the tools to address the shit that comes up when I start to lose weight
Yeah.
and get noticed. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that can be triggering if you deal with any sort of trauma around being sexualized as a child. So, yeah, no updates. Just a new journey that needs my compassion, dedication, and self love.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I've been through that journey. I think it's been like 8, 9 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 9, 10 years actually now, close to. And I'll tell you, for me, my motivations were a little bit different. Mine were about regaining my power
Yeah.
because I had felt so defeated for so long, and I felt like I had allowed my value, my self-worth, my self-esteem to be supported or validated by other people.
Right. Right.
And so I had to do something for myself in order for me to own it
Yeah.
and to never put that in the hands of anyone else. For me to do something about, if I don't like it, I can fix it. If I don't like
Yep.
something about myself, only I can fix it.
Yep.
And then actually getting out there and doing something about it. And for the longest time I shared a lot. I shared a lot along the way. I shared, like progress and failures and all that stuff. And I still go to the gym now, but I'm not interested in sharing any of that
I'm just not.
anymore.
No, this is
Yeah.
my journey. This is body liberation. This isn't
Yeah.
weight loss. This is body liberation and all of the things that
Yeah.
encompasses.
Yeah.
I guess, and I guess this the last thing that I'll say about this is that I finally, see my struggle with weight and that it has zero to do with a lack of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a fucking, it's a load of shit that we're fed.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've had to reconsider the term the weight, okay? Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, you see people talking about how they lost the weight, right?
Yeah.
But then that just disconnects them from the fact that their weight is a result of their mindset, their beliefs, their thoughts, their words, their actions or inactions. You know, and when we disassociate from that, it becomes this thing that is your foe instead of
Right.
representing healing needed to take place within them, right? Like, or
Mm-hmm.
that inner child, that like loving that inner child. So yes, it's about
Yes.
calorie deficits versus exercise and all that stuff. But the bigger focus for me is going to be on choice, making
Yeah.
the choices that support my desired outcomes, you know, around it. And then in the moment when my inner child starts to get scared or worried or whatever, she's dealing with,
Yes.
instead of pushing her voice down and then giving into that like instant gratification of a dissociative coping mechanism, right? Well, I'm
Right.
just gonna eat this and ignore my
Right.
voice or whatever. I'm at the point now where I know, okay, she needs to be heard, and that's the first step of this journey, because as a child my pain and voice, it wasn't heard. So I'll be damned if I'm going to continue to perpetuate this shit any longer. I'm just done, so I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, good for
So
you.
anyway, so I think that's
Awesome.
why I'm like, I don't really want to talk about that. I
Yeah.
just want to. What's
Yeah.
that saying? Set some goals, smash the shit out of them, and stay quiet about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to toot your own horn every once in a while, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, but I think you have to want to. If you feel obligation. The other thing though is like with weight loss specifically, right? If you start going down that, there's just so much toxic diet culture, and then there's
Yes.
people who are recovering with eating disorders, and like we don't
Yes.
want to trigger
No.
any of that for anyone.
Mm-mm.
So that's not
No.
what we're here
I'm
for.
using my dosha work with Nanisha.
Hmm.
She tells me eat during the day, during the daylight hours for my dosha. So I'll have a light breakfast. I'll have a heavy, like my biggest meal of the day is about 3:30, 4,
Uh-huh.
and then about 7:30 or 8. Well, before it gets dark, right before it gets dark, I'll have another light meal.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you what, that satisfies me, and I don't really snack, well, unless I have an edible, and then but I
That's different.
blame
Yes.
the indica for that.
I know. Yeah.
Fucking indica.
Which is it. Yeah. You got to be careful with that part. Yes. Um. I've also been doing some inner child healing, but this is more like not healing, it's more like inner child treating.
Yeah.
So I just got tickets to see Garbage in concert.
Oh my God, that is some serious healing of the inner child,
It,
or
that is, yeah.
indulging.
That was my teenage self. That was like my early, like preteen, 12, 13-year-old self. Like that was my dream at that time. I was like, I would love to see them in concert. I would love to see Garbage in concert. And I obviously, being 12, 13 years old, and not coming from hardly any expendable money, like that wasn't something that I was able to afford as a child. So doing it now.
Yay!
Yeah.
And you're gonna see him?
Yeah, I'm gonna see them in June. It's something with Noel Gallagher
Noel
from
Gallagher. Who's he?
the
Oh,
the
Noel
Gal
Gallagher. He's a member. Oasis. Yes.
Oasis. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The one that I was always fighting with his brother.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
Liam and
all I
Noel.
know them
Yep.
about. Yes. So it's him along with Garbage, and then Metric is opening up for them.
Dude, Shirley Manson is fucking badass. She always has been. She always will be. Her song "Stupid Girl" was just so badass. But all of those '90s chicks, Sheryl Crow, Alanis
Alanis Morissette.
Morissette,
Yes.
Lita Ford. She was a little bit more rocker, but she was still badass too.
Yeah.
And then of course Gwen Stefani, and oh my God, Sheryl Crow, one of my absolute favorites. So
90s girl power.
all of
Yep.
them, yeah. Um, Blow, or Hole,
Oh, Hole. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Hole,
Oh, Courtney Love.
Courtney Love.
I
I
can't
know
stand her.
people have take issue with Courtney, but Courtney, she put on a show. She's a shit
Yeah.
show herself, but
She's a shit show.
man,
She put on a show, a shit show.
yeah, I dug Hole's music, so yeah, I was
Yeah.
all into that.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what I'm part of what I'm doing this summer. So that'll be fun.
That is fun. Yay. Yay, inner child.
Yeah.
Yay. I'm excited. I thought I was like all like, woo, I'm so excited when I saw CV Nix, but so I, last summer I think I saw her and
Uh-huh.
I was like so excited to see her, but um I'm like, oh yeah, but that would be badass to see Shirley Manson and Garbage, and so I'll have to catch a 90s show
I know.
sometime.
You gotta see your idols before they
Yep.
completely retire or something happens to them, God forbid.
Right.
Chris Cornell, who I never got to see. Oh,
Don't even. Don't
I
even.
know. I don't even want to go there.
Listen, I told you I knew in my heart of hearts and my soul to soul. I don't know how I knew, but I knew I was going to meet him one day.
Uh-huh.
Had zero idea that I would be moving here,
Uh-huh.
to the West Coast. And so, yeah, when he died, I was like, but now I'm not going to get to meet him, so I remember that too. So, I know
Yeah.
I was meant to meet him. Um,
Mm,
Man, that
yeah.
that dude, just I list 5 minutes of listening to him, and I'm just lost in his
He
voice.
just has the most beautiful
Yeah,
voice.
soulful, beautiful man.
Mm. Well, at least he left us with his music.
Oh my god, all of it.
You
Yeah,
can't,
it's
you don't, because
beautiful.
you don't take it with you. Yeah.
Mm-mm. No.
What else? Oh, so I wanted to tell you. So, okay, yeah. So yesterday was my dad's birthday. So we went to the cemetery, and we just went early in the morning. And then I'm just sitting there and just kind of like taking in the sun and stuff. And then I've been trying for the longest time, been trying to just kind of find more information about where we come from, like the native people specifically, because I know just in talking to like a cousin who's not very helpful because she's like, well, you're already living over there. What do you care? And it's like, well, like I care. So
Right.
anyway, so she wasn't of any help. But I have an aunt who's a lot more helpful. She's given me a lot of information as far as like, so we come from the Kashkan natives and they have a really beautiful origin story, and so we're just kind of finding out more information about that. But for the longest time I could not, like, I could just to go to Google, I could not find anything other than like a Wikipedia page, which was
Right.
just like census information, like, nothing really useful. So I came upon this book, and this was written by a woman named Dr. Daisy Ocampo, and she went to the what I found is actually her dissertation, because she got her doctorate degree in history over here at UC Riverside, and now she teaches at San Bernardino, so at UC San or Cal State San Bernardino, and so we come from the same town. Like that's where like her family's also from the same town that my dad is from, and it's like 500 people who live here. So it's a small town. But she wrote her whole dissertation, and essentially what it does is it like equates native tribes and their affinity for sacred mountain spaces. So particularly for us, the Cascan people of Zacatecas, which is like north central Mexico, they have their area which is called Cerro de las Ventanas, which is like called um Mountain of the Windows, I think is probably the best translation. And then the Chimewavi natives, which is like the south of the southwest United States, and then they have also their sacred sites, one of them being Mount Charleston, and then there's another one called Mother Mountain. So she also ended up writing a book. So I'm just like really excited that I found this information and that
Mhm.
someone took the time, like, because I know that her dissertation was years worth of research and
Yeah.
trips, interviews with people, like just the amount of work. So it's actually on my to do list. Like, I want to write her an email just to like thank her, because I just, that fact that she did that, you know?
Yes. And it gives
Um,
you that connection that you didn't have before.
Yes. Yes, because she speaks to elders and she gets them to tell the origin story that is carried down from their parents and their grandparents and all that. And if we don't learn it, being being disconnected because we no longer live there, so we don't have the direct connection to the elders anymore to hear the stories firsthand. But the fact that she was able to write it down and interview these people and share it with us, I'm just floored. Like, I'm just so grateful for it. There's one part, like the origin story is kind of long, but the one part that I thought was really cool is when the people had emerged, because the whole idea of their creation was that they came out of the water and they came out into the earth through the mountain, which is, their sacred site. Um, and there was a little boy who, in the consequent days, had been eaten by a jaguar. And it was the first time that they had lost someone. They didn't understand that at that point, or up until that point, that they could live among the animals, but they had to be careful around certain ones. So anyway, so they take the remains of the little boy and they take him into a cave and they cover him up with flowers. And they have their native name for the flower. I find out what the flower they're talking about are plumerias, which I had no idea plumerias were native to this part of Mexico. I always thought like plumerias were like super tropical, like Hawaii. I always think of plumerias, I think of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And they cover him up in flowers, and then the next day he's resurrected. And then they name him Xochipilli, which is Little Prince of Flowers.
Aww.
And so it's cool because there's a lot of other connections. So the other name for the native people is called Kas Amo. And Kas is people people of the people of the land, and then Amo is without. So I'm sorry, it's people of the water, and then the Amo is without. So it's the people without the water.
Okay.
Because their origin story was that they came from two islands that formed, in an ocean, and then the water at one day was just gone. So anyway, that story it just kind of stuck to me with the flowers, because recently I've come upon just owning two plumeria plants, which they haven't sprouted yet, but like now I know who I can call on.
Yes.
And like, and
Mhm.
because that's
The
Xochipilli
Prince of
went
the
on
Flowers.
yeah, he went on to be the god who they prayed to for their harvest. He was like the god of agriculture.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful. Especially in your garden, because your garden just holds such your just backyard holds such magic. I totally attribute that to the spirit of your dad too.
Yeah, because he definitely would have loved it back there. Yeah. So, so just finding all that information, it was really great, and I feel really just blessed that I was able to get a hold of this, and just to know that someone else out there is doing the work, and it's great. So,
I love
just really
that.
grateful right now. You got any announcements?
Let's see. Do I have any announcements? I think really the only thing that I have is that I'm done with intuitive commissions. I've already said that for the time being. I will bring them back this year. I already decided. And then right now I'm working on completing all the reports that go with each of the commissions that I've done over the last couple months. Have those out in April, May. But I did want to point out that I am still taking custom orders for like special occasions and gifts. So Mother's Day,
Oh, yeah.
birthdays, that sort of thing, graduation, blah, blah, blah. So just email me at jofigueresstudio@gmail.com, or you can just use the contact form on my website, jofigueres.com. And we'll set up something and talk about what it is that you want. We'll talk about budget, all that stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in giving someone a custom piece based on their birthday, their numerology and astrology, just let me know. I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. I love that you're still going to be able to do custom pieces, because that's a really great gift.
Yeah, it so is. It really is. And again, it was putting it aside wasn't because I was bored of it or anything. It was just, it was consuming all of my time. And
Yeah.
then my creative sort of, my creativity was, I wanted to do other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to make earrings and,
Yes.
all that stuff. So
Yes, I get you. All right. We have merch, everyone.
We do.
So if you haven't taken a look already, go take a stroll down esotericspodcast.com/merch, and you can see everything we have available.
Yep, and it has our new logo. If you haven't checked it out, I need to do a social post just to say, hey, look at our new logo. I just haven't, but check out the new logo.
Yeah.
It's super cute. Fioralize designed it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, and then I'll get some pictures and stuff of the merch and all that once I receive the samples. Anyway, I also have in-person events, and these are all taking place at Raincross District in the city of Riverside, California. Our first upcoming event is going to be Meditation Monday. That will be starting April 3rd, and then we'll return again April 17th. These are 1 hour guided meditations, and these are just donation based. And then my next event will be our full moon ceremony, and this will take place Friday, April 7th. Registration is now open. For the full details, you just go on my website, fioralize.com/events. It'll also be linked in our show notes.
Nice. Excellent work, my friend. Building up your community, putting your events out there, doing the healing work, all that good stuff. It's all starting.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm really excited. And then I am also offering one-on-one sessions. Again, that's all found under services on my website. If maybe you're not ready to participate in a ceremony, you want something more private, I can do one-on-ones.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. All right. You want to get talking about spiritual downloads?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get into this, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about what it is. So throughout the years, as I've been, on this sort of spiritual intuitive path, I've often heard the term spiritual download, and I just always assumed that it referred to the occasional ringing in my ears, right?
Yes.
Spiritual download. It sounds sort of like the old dial up, right? When the internet
Yeah.
was brand new.
Yep.
But a few weeks ago, I came across the term used in a totally different context. And I was like, wait, what? What?
Uh-huh.
Let's get in. I want to talk about this, right? So I realized that if it was confusing me, I'm sure that there are others out there who maybe also want a more defined description, or, could just be my rabbit hole queen Capricorn in this universal 7 year. Oh, who
Yeah.
knows? Who cares? Whatever. We're going to talk about it today.
We're here.
We're here. We're here for it. All right. So, first off, what is a spiritual download? The term download is a metaphor, basically. It's used to explain the process of receiving higher frequency energy transmissions through your chakra system.
Mm-hmm.
It's also known as a light code activation. That's the more esoteric term. And so, if you are aware of what light codes are and like 12D energy and all that good stuff, great.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, just know that it's a future topic that we'll talk about.
Okay.
Light code activation is basically an upgrade to your operating system, and it can activate new beliefs, healing abilities, psychic abilities, and just higher levels of consciousness. So these energy downloads can come from a variety of sources: your higher self, your team of spirit guides, your angels. Can come direct from the universe or source. I mean, honestly, the possibilities are endless. For all we know, it could come directly from an ET. We don't know.
Sure. Uh-huh.
But there's also an alternative school of thought out there, and this is the one that I came across that was sort of fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that, well, about downloads and how we receive them. So some people believe that a spiritual download is the same thing as a channel that comes
Yes.
in the form of like visions and dreams,
Okay.
intuitive insight and inspiration. Or just like this unexplained knowing and wisdom that you would not otherwise understand. The biggest aspect that I saw is that people, there are some practitioners out there that are like, well, I receive my, intuitive abilities through spiritual downloads. And really, once I started digging and going into what they term those to be and all that stuff, it's a channel.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily wrong or, at all, right? I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about other channels, but for me, the information comes in through my crown. I can feel it sort of as pressure in my crown, and then that shit just comes out my mouth.
Okay.
There is this odd urge to speak, like the words are pushing out of me, and then I slip into that sort of autopilot mode. So I experience a download completely different than this other, some of these other practitioners. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that school of thought, but it's only because that's not my personal experience. I'm not denying it. I'm just sharing it here for those.
Yeah.
Some people may have that uniquely cool experience. I didn't, and I was fascinated by it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like how you teach in the workshop for empaths, right? That
Yep.
everyone receives their intuitive hits differently based off of their clair abilities.
Yes, yes. And I had never heard this before. A
Hmm.
spiritual download to some people is like a big old download of inspiration. It's creative inspiration,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
And I thought that was fascinating because I look at creative inspiration or a burst of inspiration as the energy that connects us intuitively to
Yeah.
spirit. So
Yeah.
just another aspect of it.
Yeah.
So whatever term you resonate with, I still want to talk about the logistics of a spiritual or energetic download. So
Okay.
first off, what does it feel like physically? Physically, these frequencies, light code activations, downloads can come with any number of bodily sensations. You can feel tingles, heat, coolness, a feeling of euphoria or peace. I don't feel anything, just to clear that up.
Hmm.
Um, because personally, I equate a spiritual download with ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
This is what I believe to be is my idea of an actual energy transmission or download of light codes and delivering 12D energy. Okay. 12D energy, again, if you know what it is, great. If you don't, we'll talk about it soon, but it's just a higher level of energy.
Okay.
And that comes in the form of like a high frequency activation and upgrade, right? So you get this physical, light, energetic activation and upgrade. It can be an information download to activate past life stuff, past life
Hmm.
skills, past life ability, past life knowledge. It can activate your clairaudience, your psychic hearing receptors. It can be that those are opening up and fine tuning. A download might be your higher self or spirit guide communicating with you.
Okay.
And it might be an upgrade to your personal vibrational frequency, which it ultimately, all of those
Yeah.
affect your personal vibe. Yeah. So,
The thing with these is I feel like you don't always know right away, right?
right.
Like you're just getting the thing,
Yep.
but you don't know what you're getting
No,
immediately.
no. Yeah. I actually touch on that, but you're right. It's like,
Okay.
I don't know what the hell. I always say to spirit, I don't know what the hell you're saying or doing,
Yeah.
or I'm just going to
Sending me.
open to
Uh-huh.
it. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've said that from the beginning. I'm like, all right, here we go. So if you experience ringing in your ear and it worries you, all of the information out there says get checked for tinnitus, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you have continuous ringing that causes discomfort. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
get into the rest of it, dude. If you experience this, go to the doctor, get checked for tinnitus. It, end of story, right?
Yeah. One more tip. Just check the volume of your headphones. Like if you use headphones regularly and you have you might be overexposing yourself to, audio in your ear on just too high of a volume.
Mhm.
Just so you know, just take it from someone who has personal experience with this. Sometimes the ringing in your ears is because you've kind of been slowly damaging your ears. So,
I mean, that's a practical tip, right?
yes,
Because
practical.
I did not feel like I wanted to go into all of the muggle practical,
No.
3D tips, but
No.
they are, you do have to think of other things. But,
Yes.
let's say you've gone through all that shit and you're like, wait a minute, this is actually, it's not tinnitus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you feel no discomfort or pain when your ears occasionally ring and then stop, and
Yeah.
again, the key word being occasionally, this is more than likely a sign that you have clairaudient or clairsentient abilities.
Mhm.
So I know I talk about, all of those clairs that, you could potentially have, but I feel like we all have the ability to experience all of our clairs. They're not exclusive to one person. They're simply
No.
stronger in one person than another, just like athleticism is stronger in one person than another, or,
Yes.
cognitive thinking is stronger uh,
Yeah.
in the non-MAGA crowd. I mean, but I digress. All right. So the other thing is that spiritual downloads, they're not random at all. They might feel like it or seem like it because they're occasional, but they're not random, and they actually initiate like a phase. They'll
Mhm.
initiate a lesson, or they'll provide some really beneficial information. And again, you know, um, we have no idea what, right? So although they have a purpose, a download probably isn't going to be as straightforward as we would like it to be, right?
Yeah.
Most humans, we struggle with the ability to have faith, to trust, to just let things be, all that stuff, and really to believe in something that we can't see. And in this case, understand we don't know what the hell it's saying. So the truth is that we have almost zero understanding of the downloads that we receive, and there's no map or explanation attached. So you're just going to have to take it on faith.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about pitch, high pitch versus low pitch. Now,
Okay.
I personally don't experience a difference, but if you do, that's cool. And it may mean that you're able to differentiate between a high vibe spirit or an earthbound spirit, which I think is so cool. I wish I could, but also, I don't mess with
Not
earthbound spirits, so
not interested too much in those.
not really. I think that for me it could be scary, right? But it can also mean that you're able to tune into the very cool Schumann resonance, which is the frequency of the earth. You can actually hear the earth, hear the vibration of the earth. That is so cool. I would love to talk to somebody who can do that.
I feel like if you go to New Mexico and you go out into the plains, like where it's nothing, your ears start to ring. And I think that's what that is.
Oh, that would be beautiful. And then it's gorgeous there too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what if sometimes you experience a weird pressure with no ringing? Have you ever experienced that, Fee?
Weird pressure with no ringing. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. When do you experience it? Do you know what time of day? Can you remember?
I don't think I've ever taken note of it. Sometimes it's when I'm driving, which is it gets mixed up with, okay, did I just like come down off of a hill?
Right.
Or
right.
something else.
No, that makes sense, right? So you know how your ears pop when you travel in an airplane or to higher elevations, right? Mountainous regions or whatever. So think of our third dimensional physical bodies as being at the bottom of the ocean. Okay. And then as we ascend, our bodies begin to shift and channel higher fifth dimensional energy, which makes the pressure around us change. So like scuba divers, they have to decompress every 10 or so feet as they come up from the bottom of the ocean. The same thing happens with us during our ascension process, our awakening, our spiritual journey or whatever, really just as our vibrational frequency shifts, for whatever the multitude of reasons that it could. So we may physically feel the pressure shift around us as we move from like that third dimensional thinking, very grounded, 5 senses, 6 senses type of thing. Well, 5 senses. But as we move into the 5D and higher, we can feel that in our ears, especially if we're sensitive to energy. So, for example, I am very, very, very active in the fifth dimension when I sleep. I've mentioned this before that my dreams are on acid every single night. And I have a history of astral travel. Like getting into who the fuck knows, like I'm a sailor on leave. I swear to God, my dreams are so ridiculous. But pretty much every morning when I wake up and I get out of bed, my ears feel like they have water in them for just a few seconds. As I sort of adjust back to that third dimensional frequency. It's weird and cool, and honestly, really the only explanation that I have for it. Yeah, it is weird. It's very weird.
That makes sense.
It's like, wait, what? What's happening? And also, I've mentioned before that when my ears plug up, that's my sign from spirit that they want me to sit down because they have shit to tell me. So I'll typically, when my ears are plugged up, I'll sit down and I'll just start journaling or channeling, and then they go away. And so I told them, I was like, dude, don't do that anymore. It's uncomfortable because they'll do it when I'm like in fucking the middle of Fred Meyer, and I'm like,
where do you want me to go?
What am I supposed to do now? You know what I mean? So I said, just don't do that anymore. I'm like, there are specific times when we can do that. So I think that it's sort of like a layover, like in the morning, they're, or during the dream state, they're talking to me, they're telling me shit, they're all that stuff. And then when I wake up for that small period of time, maybe I'm still in that energy. I have no idea. I'm making shit up here, but it makes sense, to my logical brain. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to the ringing in the ears. So depending on which ear is active, there can be different meanings. Okay, so you're a channel and you receive intuitive abilities. Do you have a difference between each ear, what comes in, what sort of information you receive?
I don't. I just know I have like two different things that happen to me depending on what I'm doing or saying. If I'm speaking to something that I feel like it's coming out of channel, it feels like it's like you said, it's coming in through my crown. Like it feels like it's like a beam of light, like just hitting the top of my head.
Yep.
Like sunlight just hitting my head. And then if I'm saying something that I guess, I don't know, rings true or uh, I don't know what it particularly means, it's just like the left side of my head, of my face kind of tingles.
Nice. Do you feel anything on your right side?
I don't. No,
Okay.
it's all coming on my left.
Okay, see, this is why this shit is so fascinating. So there's some standards out there, and we're going to talk about what those standards are. But take these with a grain of salt because each person is individual,
Yes.
very individual. So, all right, so ringing in the right ear, or ringing or receiving information from spirit from your right ear. Okay,
Uh-huh.
superstition tells us that ringing in our ears is a bad omen. All right. Someone speaking ill of us.
Yeah, that's what my mom always
I
told
was
me.
just
Yeah.
going to say, your
Yeah.
mom, right? We
Yes.
love your mama um, and all of her superstitions, right? But ringing in the ear is simply hearing new frequencies and has nothing to do with good or bad omens or superstitions. Okay. You know
Mm,
me, I'm all about the science.
yep.
And speaking of that, let's look at the science behind it because it's kind of cool. So, our right masculine side of our body, so the right side of our body is our masculine side, and that's the side that governs logic and facts. That
Mhm.
is also the side of the body that is the giver, it's the giving. So, in Reiki, when I deliver Reiki, I deliver it with my right hand, and I
Yeah.
hold my left hand up because my left hand is the receiving. Okay, so
Yes. Yes.
the left feminine side of the body governs intuition and emotions, and this is the side of the body that receives. Okay. So, left side, you get your information from spirit from your left side. So, you're using your intuition, you're using your emotions, you're
Mm,
receiving information, right?
yeah.
So, that's very interesting because note that this is the opposite of the more scientific based logical left brain, right brain. Logical
Uh-huh.
left brain, creative right brain traits. So it can be a little bit confusing, but I always think of it like my right hand is, it gives energy and my
Mhm.
left hand receives it. So that's how I sort of realized, wait. And so now, like during readings, I, all there are all three sides of my body. So on my right side, that's where I'm receiving spirit guide messages, loved ones, like legitimate, spiritual. That's where my mediumship side is on my right side.
Um,
My left side is the Akashic record side. That's where I receive visions, past lives. I receive energy that will push in. It will pull me to my left for past
uh-huh.
life, and it will push on me for to push me over to the right side, which is current.
Oh.
When somebody comes through and it's not mediumship and they want to speak through me, it's
Mhm.
typically a high level spirit guide or a loved one that I've allowed that to. It comes through my head. It comes through the top of my head like yours does, and then it pushes out my mouth.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Okay.
and these are just little subtle little things that I've learned along the years of doing readings. Like, this is this is how I know who's talking to me, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like, dudes like, this is Ralph, her spirit guide. The reason I know that it's spirit guide is because it's coming in from this side. And I'll say, who am I talking to? I'll say,
Yeah.
Ralph. All right,
Yeah.
Ralph, what up, dude?
Yeah.
All right.
And then for everyone listening to this who's like brand new, right? Or
Yeah.
like hasn't really gotten a grasp on this, just everything that we're talking about essentially is just how Jo has already built her psychic library.
Yes.
And so her psychic library is going to look different than mine and therefore yours. Like no, I don't think no any two are going to look the same, look or
No.
feel the same. It's just a matter of recognizing for yourself and then maybe taking note of that in whatever way so that so that when the next time it happens, you're coming into an understanding of, oh, this is that. This is what happened last time. So this means this for me. et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yes, I forget to sometimes. This is over the course of years and years and years of building my intuitive practices, strengthening them. I've developed my communication styles with my guides, and I've done this, remember, I've done this thousands of times because I've read that many people. So, this is me fine-tuning my craftsmanship, as an intuitive. It's going to look different from somebody else, but
Yeah.
just know also, like Fioralize says, everybody's is different, and there's shit that some people can do that I can't do. And seriously, I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
How come I
Yeah.
can't do that? Because it's cool as hell.
Yes.
All right, so now let's look at the woo behind it. We looked at the science behind it. Now let's look at the woo behind left ear, right ear. So our right ear seemed to be a little bit more receptive to picking up external energy. That's our psychic hearing. That's our clairaudience. That's energies that are coming into our energy field. For me personally, like I said, I receive those clairaudient messages from spirit and loved ones through my right ear.
Okay.
If you experience ringing in your right ear, it's often a sign that you have a heightened awareness of communication from the spiritual realm. It's your mediumship. It's really your clairsentience, your claircognizance. It's, it's your clairaudience. That's the psychic ability to hear spiritual messages. Your clairsentience is the ability to sense a spiritual presence. Okay, so ringing in the right ear. Let's go over to the left ear. Hearing ringing or receiving messages or communication from your left ear is less common than your right ear. But again, it's all related to your intuitive abilities and your personal vibrational frequency. I have to have all three parts of my body activated because I work with three different modalities: channeling, Akashic records, and mediumship. That's why.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just a practical thing. Left ear ringing suggests that you're picking up on changes within your energy or a shift in your vibe. Left ear ringing is what I believe to be an actual light code download from the universe. Like that's where my light codes come in and my downloads come in. I always hear them in my left ear. It's very rare that I hear them in my right ear.
Okay.
Do you have a specific ear that you hear them in?
Both of my ears ring. When they start to ring, it's both of them. Sometimes it's
at the same time.
At the same time.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. To the point where sometimes it makes I'm just like, am I losing my hearing? Because it's both my ears are ringing.
Dude, Google that. Dude, I want to find out what that is because see, here we go, people. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't do that. What is that? What the hell does that mean? 2 times, both ears. Let's find out. All right, while you're doing that. Oh, what's
allegedly? It says you need to surround yourself with more positive energy so that your inner voice will get heard.
God damn it, right? No. So listen, there is a lot of shit that I cut out of this, and a lot of it's like, well, if you hear this, then you're hearing negative entities. No, you're not. Not unless you're fucking summoning them from the depths of hell.
Right? Yeah.
I can't stand that disempowering shit that's out there and that fear-based stuff.
And that's the first thing that comes up. It sucks.
So what are some people supposed how are people supposed to get comfortable with their intuitive abilities and grow them and become allied with them in their spiritual team if the first thing they hear is, if you hear ringing in your ears, it's because somebody negative is cursing you, they're wishing will of you, or there's negative entities around you? You're going to shut that shit down.
Dude, listen to this. And this is on medium.com, which is why you got to be careful of, even if you think it might be a okay source. So this is an article on the ringing in your ears, and basically it's telling you, right ear, positivity is being sent your way. Okay, nothing bad about that. 2, someone is gossiping about you. That's going back to superstition. Then 3, your angels are supporting you, which is all good and dandy. But then we get into the left ear.
Yep.
Something is going to go wrong. What the fuck?
Fear-based predictive bullshit that is not even real.
Yeah. And then 2, a warning.
A warning that you're reading some bullshit. That's what that warning is.
The angels are warning you not to get involved with this person. This goes with situations too. 3, you need to get your life together. It's like, what?
That one's kind of funny, right? That's the universe saying, get your shit together, bitch.
Get your shit together. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. There you go, people. There's
you gotta be careful. You just gotta be here.
I mean,
We
the
gotta be
thing
here for
is
to get your
so
confirmation.
what's the whole purpose of your of your solar plexus and your intuition and your gut? Why even have that if we can have the ringing in the ear?
Right, exactly.
Stupid. All right, well, we'll call your asses out, untruth spreaders. We're here to
Well, just fear spreaders. Like
Yeah.
that's not empowering in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-mm. All right, so back to ringing in the left ear. So I think of the soul blueprint as this program that is running using the energy from our astrology or the stars. Okay.
Mhm.
It's the programming that is based on your numerology, which is the what, your astrology, which provides the why, and your human design, which is your DNA, and it's the how. It's your user manual.
Mhm.
Those three modalities, they map out our soul blueprint. So when the left ear rings, it's like an update to our operating system, right? So our soul blueprint, if you think of it like the iPhone, like an iPhone,
Mhm.
the ringing in the left ear are the random, updates that happen at night while we sleep when our phone is plugged in.
Uh-huh.
In the Akashic Records, left ear ringing is how I talked about this, how I receive past life visions and messages, and then I can feel energy pushing in on my left side.
Uh-huh.
But because our left ear is more in tune with what is going on within our personal energy field, you're more than likely experiencing a significant shift in your own vibrational field. That's why I believe that left ear ringing is an actual light code upgrade or download from the universe.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that high pitched ringing it's actually your energy that is recalibrating into alignment. Both of my legs are tingling right now. So my spirit guides are validating that I'm telling you the truth. So it's our energy that's recalibrating. So we're actually hearing the recalibration going on.
Oh.
Let's see what else I have on that. Okay, so we talked about this. We touched on this a little bit, but like Fioralize said, when you hear the ringing in your ear, it can feel impossible to understand what the hell these messages are. Who
Yeah.
knows what they are?
Yeah.
So to help us, take note of this, because they may be accompanied by other signs from the universe, because your guides aren't trying to trip you up. They want you to understand, but also you have to understand that you need to have a solid form of communication, a consistent
Yeah.
form of communication with them. So
Yeah.
what might accompany this ringing, and it might not be right away, it might be over the course of the hours or the day or whatever, is you'll see angel and recurring numbers. Okay, so look for those and make sure you look up the meanings.
Yeah.
You might receive animal medicine in all forms, and Fioralize can speak better to this and how it shows up, but for me, I always see the animals. They run across my path or something.
Yeah.
And you also, it might come across as tarot or oracle. So if you get a download, give yourself a few minutes and then pull a tarot or oracle card, and that's the easiest way to figure out and say, okay, what's that?
Yes.
What was that about, spirit?
What would you like to tell me? Yep.
And then also some other fun signs and symbols that you can look for to accompany a download would be like songs on the radio, cledons, but the thing is that the universe typically sends you signs and symbols, anyway, but pay attention.
Yep.
Let's see. Another good way to interpret the ringing in your ears or the downloads is to just really tune into your intuition. What do you feel? What emotions are you experiencing in your life currently? What impressions or images come to mind? Maybe they're associated with clairvoyant images. Those will give you a little bit more accurate context to the guidance that you're receiving or whatever it is that you're receiving. But like Fee said earlier, be patient with the process. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have zero idea what messages or energy my downloads deliver, and I don't worry about it. I never have. I've never cared about looking into it.
Yeah.
I just trust my higher self to guide me through any up levels. And when I hear these tones, I just get very still. I tune into the actual sound while it lasts, and then I offer appreciation for the download, and I just say, thank you, spirit. I appreciate that. That's it. That's all I do.
That's the best thing you can do, because sometimes that's all you can do.
Right? I mean, and now don't worry about it, so.
No, don't worry about it.
All right, now I want to talk about some balancing practices because sometimes, now I don't know that I ever have, not that I can remember. I don't, well,
Hmm.
I'll find out if you've experienced this, but ear ringing during meditation. Have you experienced that?
No, no, mm-mm,
No, I
no.
haven't either, but it's because I use headphones
Uh huh.
and I listen to solfeggio frequencies or music or binaural beats during
Uh
meditation.
huh.
So maybe that's why.
Maybe. And I do mantra meditation.
Oh, see,
So
so your mind is busy.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
So
maybe.
I don't remember experiencing it, not vividly. So, like I said, I'm in typically such a state in meditation that I don't really ask questions or why, I just let it come in. But this is why. So when we strengthen our bodies through meditation and energy work, right? We're clearing when we strengthen our energetic bodies, we're clearing out our chakras, and so just as our physical bodies go through any sort of detox, like when we change our diet or lifestyle, our
Yeah,
energetic bodies go through a similar clearing process when we do energy work.
yeah,
And so meditation just sort of helps balance that internal energy. So that's why it's so important to have a consistent meditation practice, because you're delivering a higher vibrational flow of energy through your body on a consistent basis. That's
hmm,
really the medical, I guess you would say, medical woo reason for meditation.
yeah,
Um, and what this does is it helps you to more easily feel vibrations and tinglings and that stuff and buzzing, any
yeah.
buzzing in the body. And the buzzing can be like an overflow of energy. So, like one chakra has a little bit more energy or it's holding energy and you got to do some work around it, clear it, that sort of thing. So your body is eventually going to show you where you're becoming accustomed to a stronger energy flow, but also where you might be ungrounded. When I need to ground, I can feel my root chakra buzz. It
Oh, can you?
it is the weirdest thing. And it stops when it wants to. There's nothing that I found that I can do. I think it's telling me that I need to meditate, so I will do that, but it doesn't necessarily stop. But I can feel it buzzing. It's spinning, buzzing, growling, or it feels like a rumble, or it's really, really weird.
Oh, wow.
And
Huh.
and it's not even like a vibration, so it's not sexual, it doesn't turn me on or anything like
Of
that.
course.
It's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing.
Huh.
If you notice that your ears ring during or after meditation, this is a shift in your energy field. I think I said that. So anyway, as your energetic shifts balance each other, the ringing in your ears should subside. So like I said, if you experience it during meditation, it's a little bit rare, but kind of cool. But please let us know.
Okay.
Another balancing practice is tuning forks. So I used to use tuning forks at my studio. I would offer Reiki tuning fork sessions, and it was
Uh-huh.
really, really, really helpful for people. They
Um,
really loved those sessions. One person didn't, and I was all like, ugh, like, right? She's like, I don't really like it. Like, all right, well, don't come back then. No,
no.
I didn't say that,
What
but
didn't she like about it
I
though?
don't know. I mean, I asked her, I'm like, well, really? And she didn't really have anything. She just said that she didn't resonate with it. So probably she was having
Sure.
thoughts and maybe shadow was coming up that during the process because of the resonance.
Sure.
I
I
don't
could
know.
see that.
But the thing is with tuning forks, if you have a Reiki practitioner or an energy worker that uses tuning forks or solfeggio frequencies, it's really, really helpful to have that incorporated into your energy work. Because if you use the tuning fork of 432, that brings your energy back into alignment with your heart frequency, 432. So that
Oh,
can bring balance. And
okay.
then 136.1 megahertz or hertz, that resonates with the ohm frequency, and has a very
Uh,
grounding energy. Or you can just say Om. Om.
yes.
But the point is that both have sort of this reset ability that can help to balance and ground. So, and then, you know, what if you just want to make it stop? What if you're tired of the ringing of the ear?
Yes.
So if you've tried everything and you're just like, no, I don't want this shit to happen. Maybe it scares you. Maybe you find it annoying or intrusive or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, listen, the easiest thing to do is to ask your guides or whatever higher power you believe in to ease the sound in your ears and offer appreciation for their intervention. Remember that we have free will. So we have to ask for their help, and they won't intervene without it, especially in this instance, because it's not a life-threatening situation.
Right.
If nothing ceases after you've asked for help a couple times, right, then you'll definitely, again, want to get checked for tinnitus by a medical professional.
Yes.
All right, lovely humans. In closing, downloads are wonderful and they're so cool, and I love to get them, and they can shift the way that you feel. They can shift your perspective. They can give you help that you've asked for. They can help you with your reactions. They can help you with your mindset. All of those things. They can provide you information that you need in your, like, whatever, like, current phase you're in, just to help you progress. So they're very helpful. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, and just always keep that in mind, that you don't have to make sense of exactly what it is. Just know that when it's happening, like Jo said, if it's not, as long as it's not painful, when it's happening, just sit in appreciation of it and then allow it to just unfold naturally, however it may be.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, this next part is like, when you hear one come in, like Fioralize said, relax your body, sort of breathe in that energy of love, just open up, be receptive and gratitude. What I think is really cool too is if you allow your consciousness to sort of go to the ringing and connect with those frequencies, really feel into the frequencies. That's always really, it's not even really, I don't think it's more helpful. I just think it's cool, right? Like, it's like you're in that moment where you're completely immersed in this sound that's coming into your body, and you're the only one that can hear it.
Yeah.
And then also too, allow yourself to just enjoy the vibrations, and then pay attention after. After for the next few hours and days, and, like, again, keep an eye out for those signs and synchronicities. And then, of course, be sure to record anything you receive in a journal or a notepad or whatever. So that's what I have to say about spiritual downloads.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. Very, very welcome.
Well, friends, this means it's time to say goodbye. You can find us on all the socials under Esoterics Podcast, and catch us on Facebook, hanging out in the Esoterics Podcast community under Facebook groups. This is a safe place to ask questions on all things spiritual and everyday happenings, as well as start a conversation or post a fun meme.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Stay mystical, stay magical, and don't let anyone tell you what to do.
Not even the ringing in your ears.